Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be speaking in support of this motion and sharing my time with the member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan. It's a motion that should not be necessary if public safety had been seriously considered. We're facing a tragic situation which we simply can't turn a blind eye to. Changes need to be made, and they need to be made right away. A woman, Marylène Levesque, is dead, killed not by an escaped prisoner, but by a violent killer out on day parole. We must ask, how was it that Eustachio Gallese was on day parole in the first place? Mr. Speaker, back in 2004, Mr. Gallese murdered his wife in cold blood by beating her with a hammer before fatally stabbing her with 2 knives. He was convicted in 2006 and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 15 years. 15 years, Mr. Speaker. This wife killer should not have been eligible for parole until next year. How was it that he was out on day parole in the first place? Do court sentences matter anymore, Mr. Speaker? If it isn't bad enough that he was on day parole, he had no restrictions limiting his time with women. This was a man with a history of violence towards women. And yet here he was, regularly out in the community and consorting with female sex workers. And he was violent towards them. In fact, he was banned from a massage parlor in the area for being violent and aggressive. And then 2 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, he engages with another sex worker, Ms. Levesque, in a hotel room and brutally stabs her. Mr. Speaker, this should not have happened. This woman should still be alive. Our correctional system, our parole system, this Liberal government failed Marylène Levesque and the public. Why and how, Mr. Speaker? That's the question. Why and how? That is a question that Canadians are asking their government, and they deserve answers. Actually, Mr. Speaker, Canadians deserve more than answers. They deserve to feel safe in their communities and their homes. They deserve to have a government that puts their safety first, not the sexual fantasies of a convicted wife killer. And sadly, we've seen this too many times over the last 4 years, of the system bending to criminals to give them more comfort instead of providing victims with comfort. Whether it's allowing child killers to serve time in minimum security healing lodges or allowing wife killers unsupervised access to sex workers, criminal rights seem to come first under this government.